This is a very interesting duo, right? Hot or cold, but when they're hot, I mean, it's like hot to the touch. It'll melt your fingertips right off. We've seen them execute multiple 20-plus elimination games. You saw the standings there, Taco. The top team have, what, 13 elims or so? Look at the pacing that they're on right now.
Yeah, Peterbot and Pollo are already halfway there, and looking to still add some more to it while they're in the process. You can just see that sheer aggression. That is the best way to describe this duo, and a lot of confidence as well. They're so split in their engagements. They're legitimately just taking direct 1v1s with separate duos, and they do just such an excellent job at kiting these duos to split, and because they're that confident in their individual mechanics that they fully believe if I'm in a 1v1 with anyone, I'm gonna win it. And when you already have 6 elims at this point, yeah, Peterbot, Pollo, go off. I think we all see you at this point, and I wouldn't be too surprised if they had a relatively quiet day today. Keep in mind, after week 1, they're basically already guaranteed the upper bracket in semis. What they want to make sure, though, is that Pars and Baka don't continue this run in this match. As Pollo just continuing to hunt down Pars. Peterbot will join in the chase, because why not? It's all in good fun at this point for this duo. Pars still gonna waste their time in the process, though. And Pollo and Peterbot, they are stubborn as ever. They do not want to let Pars escape here.
It's crazy how fast this SMG reloads as well. It's like endless pressure here. Pars puts up a great tag, but not even near enough to go ahead and give him the elimination shot. Pollo and Peterbot do exactly what they need to do. They hunt him down, they close the battles, and you know, if you're wondering, hey, they have a lot of eliminations, were they against good duos? Like, you know, yes, like Bak and Pars are some of the top tier offerings here in the NA scene, so it makes you wonder just how far ahead are Peterbot and Pollo from the competition right now.
And again, it's really just the sheer fact that this is almost autopilot mode for them, if you will, because they don't have to show anything different than what they've been doing in these previous lobbies. But what I do want to keep in mind is the fact that, remember, Quani and Byla are now landing over at that POI just east of Classy Courts, between Coastal Comms and Slumber Yard. So if they qual, Peterbot is potentially not going to have to worry about a player like Quani, who is pretty strong at dropping for contesting him at Grim Gate. So curious how that's going to impact Peterbot and Pollo's strategy once we actually get into that set lobby sort of format.
Yeah, it definitely is interesting. As we already know, everyone's been shying away from the Grim Gates when it has come down to the discussion online. If there is anyone setting up the play or the upset, they haven't let it be known. Back into things. So Pollo and Peterbot, the heat of a battle right here. Pollo's going to be the first to take some big punishment here, but it's not looking too hot for Kuro right now. Hasn't had a chance to heal. He gets hip to hip with his duo, as you would expect. But this is, again, if you look at any of the Peterbot and Pollo engagements, they play angles very, very well, and they play these battles as 1v2 fights, 1v2 type players. If any team just decided to full focus in and dive in on one of them, they might have a chance. However, the biggest mistake is trying to hold the ground back like that. And as I say that, Pollo actually loses one of the rare exchanges here. And this is what happens, though. Peterbot turns it right back around. Case in point, and the full finish there. 1v1, dashes in. It's just so good.
Peterbot just has such a strong understanding of where exactly he's going to land from utilizing each and every single one of his underworld dashes, but he wants to ensure that Maxwee can't look to find that full elimination onto Pollo. Probably upset the fact that Peterbot elimed his duo Kuro, and now Maxwee trying to force his way into Peterbot's box, but that might just be his demise. Aaron and Chance now seeing a prime opportunity here to third party. All that noise between this engagement has drawn the attention of some other members of the lobby. Peterbot will get the revive off onto Pollo, but it's going to cost them so much of the resources. Maxwee actually came back around, was looking for the reboot card probably, and instead finds himself being eliminated instead.
He actually got faked out. Chance and crew did not even land on the builds. He saw them coming and was like, oh, I gotta get out of here. And then they just kept going. And Peterbot, of course, got the pick up and then the finish there on the double back. You know, we just talked about the capabilities of this duo being able to 1v2, and he just does it right before us in real time. It's just exceptional work there. For Tragics, what's happening over here? No elims set up on the river's edge here. Not a bad spot. Quinn and Blizzard, much different story here. Way south of all the action here. Coming in with a nice late rotate. Take a look at the live leaderboards though. Taco, Clicks, and Epic Whale rallying their way up, marching their way towards the top of the standing right now. Looking for a multi-week, high-placing finish. You love to see it.
Trying to get a repeat storyline like what we saw earlier in EU is Vico and Pink that were able to repeat their week 1 quals performance with that first place finish on the leaderboard. Definitely a huge boost to their series points to guarantee them that upper bracket and semis. And yeah, for Clicks and Epic Whale, definitely a similar narrative trying to be built here today, but still so many teams that they're gonna have to work through. Pollo finds himself shield completely cracked. Peterbot now coming to the rescue, trying to buy his duo some time. Instead, it's gonna be completely Hunt turnaround. As Peterbot gets the knock onto one. Banana with no shields, knows that he can't exchange blows with Peterbot just yet. Instead, it's gonna be Pollo. They're gonna try and lock him down from the other side of this box. Now Pollo jumping on top of Banana's roof builds, but again, Peterbot just looking to lock things down. This is the lowest we've seen Peterbot's HP go yet, though, and it'll force him to dash away just to pick up some old spoils of war. And sure enough, the medkit, ample fizz, so many small shield potions surrounding him, and then Pollo as well. The clean finish off here.
This is going to bring them to 12 eliminations now. Really starting to tally up the numbers here. Get right back into the swing of things. They may have blew off a game or two, but this is going to put them right back into the conversation. Surely somewhere in the top 10 of the standings if they could get a dub out of this one.
This is exactly why Peterbot and Pollo cannot be left to their own devices at Grim Gate, because if they're not eliminated off spawn, they just like to barrel through the entirety of the lobby that remains, and it's just so difficult to deal with a team that is just swapping that aspect of agility between each other, because you know that they're almost always going to have 3 underworld dashes apiece. And with that in mind, it just makes box fighting against them so difficult, because you never know how or which direction they're going to actually break through into your box.
Yeah, and they don't ever play the hand. You don't know they had it. There's no visual effect to tell you this team can dash in unless you hear it or you see it. And usually by the time you see it, it's a little too late. They're somewhere in the back of your box. But here's a circumstance where Peterbot sets up, cuts off the player, and now he's right in between the duo. And the damage coming in from a third party, they don't even care. Put the back to the team and start firing through the wall here. All attention on them here on the low ground. And of course, the Grimgate River, the Underworld River, giving them the additional dashes, so no need to even reset, doesn't matter. There goes the finish, and they march their way one more step towards 20 here.
It's the rate at which Peterbot is also looking like he's actively trying to pursue quick scope action with that sniper rifle as well.
Oh, yeah.
Simultaneously using it to break walls. It's just, Peterbot does not care in the slightest about who is inside of these builds. He just wants to immediately attack as quickly as possible, but the rest of the lobby starting to congest a little bit on this northeast side of the zone. Pollo, Peterbot might have ran into a slight hiccup in the form of Tragics and Jung, but instead gonna break through some former walls, continue to try and create some space That's the other aspect, too. You just see them dashing every which direction. They saved so many of their own builds this way.
Oh, no. They just found someone in the build and pieced them up. You know, very few duos I could just sit back and watch in amazement, in awe, like this. When you watch them W key, you just can't help but hold the cameras on top of them for a little bit longer. Let's watch the next setup here, the next fight. Teams try to dash away, but it's not going to be enough. He does the same thing once again here, cuts him off from the front side. It's not looking good for Fa now. Limited builds here, outpositions the duo mate, and again, gets right in front. They have the advantage of the storm pressure in, and look at the reads here. Being able to catch a fresh duo in. His guard was never let down, and they catch this duo who tries to third party them on the rotation.
The most absurd part about all of this, MDF, is they don't even need the damage. They don't need the eliminations. They just want them, and that alone is a justifiable enough reason for them to keep this rampage constantly going, immediately dashing to the next form of attack. They'll find themselves safely inside a zone, and now looking back, it's everyone else scrambling to get in, doing what they can. You can see the metal being invested on these cones, players jumping through. One of the downsides of that Flowberry Fizz is the extra hang time it gives you in midair, and Peterbot, with that sniper in tow, he is just locking everyone else to the low ground.
And not only that, no scope on it either, right? Just straight iron sight, right? Just doing his thing right now. Here comes a knock from the hands of Pollo. The finish comes in from Peterbot. There goes the material count that they needed. 3 big pots picked up as well, so they're right back into the mix of things. Meanwhile, Pollo doesn't stop. Okay, he's trying to turn online here as he finds Matt Ranks on the backside of the zone there, and there you have it. Just explosive chain of events right now as we get ever so closer to zone number 10 here. Macwood is wondering, how are you having such a great game up top? As I am struggling down here. Can he get the finish? There it is. Okay, his first set of eliminations are in. Put him on the board.
But Macwood's got to be careful. Without anything covering his head, immediately the floors will get thrown up. Understanding the fact that with Peterbot and Pollo controlling the high ground entirely, and again, keep in mind, Peterbot and Pollo have essentially bottlenecked this entire lobby into being forcibly playing through the mid and low ground layers. Pollo as well, just being such a disruptive factor. Finally, Peterbot gets tagged up enough to put a slight lull in the action here, but with the Yamzo and Rise nearby, could spell trouble for a team like Peterbot and Pollo. This is certainly another one of our high-scale North American teams that this lobby has to offer here. And they're on the hunt as well for some eliminations. They're gonna find one onto Daryl, who's just trying to swim through ultimate low ground, but it's not gonna be enough.
Oh, absolutely. Yamzo and Rise are gonna be exciting to watch as they hopefully make their way all the way through to the final stage. They have a lot to say, if you will, in this FNCS to come. From 0 elims though, straight to 2 now. What can they do? We haven't even had time to really focus in on the terrain. This has been over a body of water for quite some time. So material counts, count them out. It's all gonna come down to refreshes here. Peterbot picks up another set now, back to the high ground of Pollo. As they wait, finally we got a little piece of land there. It's gonna give people a moment to breathe if they can even get up here, but boxed up. Magia Jr. finds his 9th elimination now as a duo. Very well played for this team right here, coming out of nowhere, showing us that there's other teams cooking down in this game as well.
But this zone is just gotta be so annoying for these players to deal with. Just a huge body of water surrounding them here at the tip of coastal columns, and Peterbot Pollo as well, looking primed up for a potential victory royale here in this lobby. It's all about just closing it out. They've already got 19 eliminations, still looking to build more. 20 gonna find an elimination onto Yamzo. Just unfortunate timing with the drop there, but Pollo, Peterbot, even faster still. 21 eliminations. Every time we look away, they just managed to secure one more. Peterbot continuing to ramp up again. All the players still left standing, just smothered in the low ground, stuck inside of the water, basically. Quinn, Blizzard, Shoutouts to Hazens, though, representation from Brazil, but Blizzard will find himself getting eliminated. And again, Hazens, doing what they can, but with Peterbot Pollo, the 1v2 is not going to be enough. Peterbot able to close this one out. Another victory royale for this duo as they let everybody in NA be reminded of the fact that they are true elimination controllers.
They just drop kick 23% of that lobby. Let that sink in for a second there. We didn't see them on the standings. When we jumped in, we had high hopes for at least 10 or so eliminations, but a 23 bomb, making it look easy. They are pushing numbers that most duos will never hit, yet alone in a qualifying level lobby of an FNCS stage. It's just incredible. It's impressive. Peterbot and Pollo do it again.